hundreds stranded as Egypt suspends British flights into Sinai. Tanzanian youth hope for more from their new president. And Forbes magazine reveals the highest paid woman in music for 2015. Africa 54 starts right now.
Good evening and welcome. I'm Vincent Makori. This is Africa 54. Hundreds of tourists are stranded in Egypt. Russia ordered the suspension of all its passenger flights to Egypt on Friday until the cause of a deadly plane crash at the weekend was established. Meanwhile, plans to evacuate hundreds of stranded Britons from a resort town in Egypt's Sinai Peninsula were put on hold Friday after Egypt suspended British flight from flying into the insurgent-riddled region. Egyptian officials have not said why the flights were called off. Although it's unclear if the British tourists will just be delayed from departing or stranded at the airport, most tourists were thankful the government was looking out for them.
Overall, I think the government made the right decision to slowly get us out of Egypt, and also considering our security at the same time as well.
British Prime Minister David Cameron met in London Thursday with Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, who, along with Russians, say any theory that there was a bomb on the plane is nothing more than speculation.
We don't know for certain that it was a terrorist bomb. There's still an investigation taking place in Egypt. We need to see the results of that investigation. The reason we've acted before that is because of intelligence and information we had that gave us the concern that it was more likely than not it was a terrorist bomb.
On Thursday, U.S. President Barack Obama said there is a possibility that a bomb destroyed the Russian plane, but he added the investigation is still ongoing. Islamic State has claimed responsibility for attacking the jet. The militant group has yet to offer any evidence to back it up. Some tourists are upset that the plane incident is harming the reputation of the resort.
Belgian authorities are telling me that it's not safe in Egypt and that they have to cancel the flight for safety reasons, which I think it's stupid because it is safe. There's no problem at all.
I'm very sorry, like many Russians here, for the loss of lives. But certainly I'll be back here. I feel safe here.
Still, any confirmation of terrorist involvement in the plane crash could further damage Egypt's crumbling but vital tourist industry. Well, today was Tanzania's new President John Magufuli's first day on the job. The citizens, and particularly the youth of the East African nations, are watching to see how quickly he will embark on fulfilling his campaign promises. During my recent visit to Tanzania, I spoke with a number of young Tanzanians to find out what they want the next government to do and what they see as their role. Today, I introduce Ishmael Ramadan Biro.
I'm a common citizen. Currently, I'm working with the Tanzania Bora Initiative. We have this program called Uchaguzi 2015 Tanzania. It's actually a program that was designed to promote the engagement of the young people in civic matters. Yeah.
Now, you know, this election has brought a lot of issues to the surface, particularly in terms of the development of Tanzania. As a youth of this country, where do you think Tanzania is in comparison to the other countries in the region?
What I like most about this country is that we have young people who have woken up and they're more interested to engage in issues that matters to this country, including getting them civically engaged and sometimes even go to vote to elect the leaders that they believe will carry forward this country.
Mm-hmm. Now, you were considered to be the people who will determine the change that will bring the future that you like. What is it that you want to see happen in Tanzania, especially after the election?
I want to see youth are more engaged in economic activities because, you know, we have a very good workforce, but at the same time, youth are the ones who are suffering the most. They're unemployed. The quality of education that they're receiving does not preparing them well to encounter different challenges that they face after they come out of schools. So we are looking forward to a country that provides a very friendly environment for youth to excel, but at the same time to participate and be part of the decisions that are being made by the government or stakeholders who are involved in the development arena.
What are some of the challenges that you think particularly the youth face in this country?
I think it's about time that the government tries to see as to how it can help the youth from different regions to sit together, to have that clear body that will help them to sit down, present issues, at the same time being able to now to take the deliberations up there for the implementations.
Well, on the other side of the continent, the West African nation of Ghana is gearing up for the presidential election next year. The main opposition leader, Nana Akufo-Addo, former vice president and now leader of the new patriotic party, NPP, claims that the current administration in power is able to manage the economy that is spiraling out of control. He recently spoke to VOA's Peter Clotty.
We first of all have to do something about the spiraling debt of our country, because if we continue building debt in the way that has been done in John Mahama's time, our future is going to be seriously compromised, seriously mortgaged. So there is that. Then we need to look at the things that will do to stimulate the Ghanaian economy, because it's like we've gone backwards. We're in recession. Everything is down. Our agriculture is down, our industry is down, manufacturing is down. And what do we need to do to stimulate those? We need to do something about the cost of capital so that private enterprise people can be able to be competitive.
Let's talk about Ghana's democracy and the tenets that Ghanaians have embraced so far. Next year's election is supposed to be one of the most competitive in Ghana. What are your views about the election? Because some people have expressed concern. Your party has expressed concern about the credibility of the voter list that will be used for the election.
Well, my party's views and mine cannot be different. That's the base document. And there are all kinds of problems with it. We have said so. And in fact, the things that we have said are those that are now engaged the attention of the Electoral Commission. The NPP put into a petition before the Electoral Commission itemizing all the things that we believe are wrong with the voters' register. The large numbers of foreigners who are on the register, underage people, minors, fake names. If you remember, not too long ago, the Supreme Court outlawed the use of the National Health Insurance card as a form of identification for being able to register. There are allegedly, some millions who have done that. So all of these people are on the register, and you find that the register, therefore, is not really fit for purpose. We believe that it is in the interest of a credible process that will allow all of us to be able to say, yes, Peter Clotty, the victor of the election, Akufo-Addo loser, and we all accept it, because we will have a credible register. So that is what we have been saying.
What should Ghanaians expect from you ahead of next year's election?
Trust me. Have the confidence in me. We have done it before. We came in 2000 with a hippie country. By the time we left, we were a middle-income nation. And that the lessons we learned from what we did will now be available to us. And, of course, the lessons of what has gone wrong since we left, and put us in a much stronger position to perform, hopefully, God willing, even better than what we did when we came the first thing around. I'm looking at the future of Ghana with a great deal of optimism.
Well, I want to know what you think about Africa 54 and the stories we cover. Join the conversation on Facebook. The address is Africa54, and check out our headlines 24/7 on voaafrica.com. Well, find me on Twitter at VOA Vince Makori. Coming up, a Yali fellow works tirelessly for the rights of the indigenous people of Cameroon.
I am Sheikh Sali, host and senior editor of VOA's international calling talk show, Straight Talk Africa.
Today we'll examine the tobacco industry.
We pretty much touch on anything that you can think of. Politics, health issues, human rights issues, you name it, we talk about it. The issues that we discuss are pertinent to most people on the African continent. A very, very rare and unique opportunity to interact with their leaders.
Welcome back to Africa 54. Continuing our profile series of young African leadership fellows, today we introduce you to Balkisou Buba. Through her organization, which focuses on land rights, human rights, environmental protection, and the management of the forest's ecosystems, Balkisou works tirelessly for the rights of the indigenous people of Cameroon. As a Yali fellow, she had the unique opportunity to work with an indigenous population here in the United States. VOA's Arasha Rabasadi visited Balki, as she is known, while she was interning at the Phoenix Indian Center in Phoenix, Arizona.
I have a passion for this. I love this job. I love doing things in favor of the vulnerable sectors of society, the vulnerable populations, and the minorities in general. My name is Balkisou Buba. I'm a 2015 Yali Mandela Washington Fellow. In Cameroon, I do a lot of things protecting and promoting the rights of indigenous people. I decided to get back to my community and try to help them come out of the many problems they are facing. In Cameroon, the indigenous communities are facing a discrimination, marginalization, social exclusion. So when I left school, I decided to go back to the community and give back to the community. It is really important to me, first because I am also from an indigenous woman, from the indigenous communities, and coming from a community where many people are not educated, especially the women. It was really important for me to get back to the community so that I can sensitize women to go to school, sensitize the men also to go to school, also try to represent them in areas of decision making where good policies and programs can be elaborated in favor of these indigenous people. And also I have a passion for this. I love this job. I love doing things in favor of the vulnerable sectors of society, the vulnerable populations, and the minorities in general. I had to apply for the Mandela Washington Fellowship because I saw that I needed more knowledge and more skills to do this job, given the multiple roles I play in the organizations. Yali has been a great experience for me because coming from Africa, meeting many young African leaders, learning from them was really a great experience, sharing experiences with them, knowing the realities of their countries, their own communities, and also problems they are facing back home was really important because when I was in Delaware, we were 25 of us, coming from 22 different African countries. So it has been great sharing experiences, learning from these people, and also in the United States with the Yali program, meeting big leaders, great leaders like the governors, the senators, and so on. It has really been inspiring because most often when we meet these people, they tell us about their inspiring journey in leadership. And this has also inspired us, motivated us to do more for our own communities and to make Africa better. The next thing I have learned here with the Yali Fellowship is that it's all about cooperation, it's all about teamwork, it's all about community building, it's all about everything put together. It's all about investing in human beings and bringing out the best in those people. Those are the two big lessons I've learned here. The biggest lesson I've learned here is that things never change unless people change these things. So the change should start with somebody, and that change should start with me. If not me, who?
Well, on Monday, President Pierre Nkurunziza set a November 7th deadline for Burundians to voluntarily give up their guns or risk being dealt with as enemies of the nation. After months of protests over his re-election in July and a failed coup, on Friday, hundreds of Burundians started fleeing their homes in fear that the 5-day ultimatum by the president for people to hand over illegal firearms may spark violence. In Bujumbura's Matukura neighborhood, hundreds marched away with belongings perched on their heads or at the back of their bicycles. The residents, most of them too terrified to speak to the media, say they feared what will happen after the Saturday deadline. Now, in a statement, U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Samantha Power, said President Nkurunziza's 5-day ultimatum for people to hand over illegal firearms or be treated as enemies of the state may spark extensive bloodshed in the coming days. For more on the U.S. position, Thomas Pirello, Special Envoy for the Great Lakes region, joins us live via Skype from the U.S. State Department. Mr. Pirello, welcome to Africa 54.
Thank you for having me.
Now, somebody would think, well, asking citizens to hand over illegal firearms is one way of trying to achieve peace in a country. Why is that a bad idea from the U.S. position?
Well, first of all, the African Union, the UN Security Council, and others have been very clear that the solution here is a political solution based on a dialogue in Kampala led by President Museveni. There is still time for leaders both within the government and in the opposition to pull people back from escalating violence and get to the peace talks. And the kind of language that talks of deadlines, senior government officials talking about pulverizing and exterminating those who don't deserve to live, this is not the rhetoric that pulls people back from the brink. There's still time for leaders on all sides to call for peace. When President Nkurunziza has done that in the past, for example, after the unlawful assassination of General Adolf, people did heed that call. So this is a time where leaders really need to speak up and move us back from that escalatory language.
And you know, there have been all these calls from the U.S. and the African Union and other leaders worldwide. But President Nkurunziza went ahead. He won this election. He's entrenching himself in power. What are the next steps now from the U.S. and other powers?
Well, I think there are very few people in Burundi, probably even in the government, who wouldn't rather turn the clock back a year to when Burundi was a relative success story. We were talking about how to build economic growth and see the first democratic transition under this constitution. And instead, we're in a situation where we have a country on the brink of civil war, under economic sanctions, and facing tremendous economic, humanitarian, security difficulties. As the African Union noted, that was due in large part to President Nkurunziza's decision to pursue non-inclusive elections. And we are where we are now. Others decided to attempt coups. These are not the sorts of things that put a country on the path to stability. But there is still a chance, no matter how narrow the window, to pull back and get the peace talks started and reset Burundi's progress that it's made since the Arusha Accords.
Have you managed to reach out to the Burundian leadership, and what are they telling you?
You know, I've reached out personally as well as our ambassador on the ground. We maintain open lines of communication with the government of Burundi as well as those in civil society and the opposition. We want to be partners with the people of Burundi and the government of Burundi, but that can only happen under circumstances that have the country on a path to peace and an inclusive peace. And so much work was done over the last decade and more on ethnic reconciliation and building strong institutions such as the military there. And so much of that is fraying now. And so now is a point for leaders who care deeply about their country to call people for peace and call people to get to Kampala for the talks. And that's something, again, the African Union, the East African community have all supported.
Now, there's those who say that, you know, there are other people involved in that conflict from that region. Do you get that sense, or is this just mere speculation?
Well, we are extremely eager for all of the neighbors to play a constructive role, whether they're neighbors that are closer to President Nkurunziza in the government or closer to the opposition, that they can be voices in their ears right now saying, we can't stand with you if you elevate this to full-on operations as some are threatening. They can be some of the most powerful voices that are pulling this back to a place where they get to a dialogue table in Kampala under President Museveni's leadership and find a path forward. So as is often the case, we think the neighborhood has a particularly important role to play, and they know better than anyone what the stakes are, the human stakes and the regional stakes of this escalating. That's why I think you are seeing more and more leadership from the region to try to push towards a peaceful solution.
Well, Mr. Perello, thank you very much for your insights.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, Thomas Perello is the special envoy for the Great Lakes region. Well, it's time now for a short break. Still to come on Africa 54, the world's highest paid woman in music 2015. We'll be right back.
If you've just joined us, I'm Mariama Diallo, and here is a quick recap of today's headlines. In Egypt, about 165 passengers board the 29 flights scheduled to leave Sharm el-Sheikh for Britain after the British government ordered the repatriation of tourists.
The last 2 years.
Australian journalist Pete Gresday celebrates his return home to Kenya after spending 2 years in an Egyptian prison. In Rwanda, production of locally made laptops for schools have begun as a part of the government's Smart Classroom initiative. In Tunisia, about 200 people have traveled to Tunis's Old City to celebrate a 5-day art festival honoring local artists and the city's history. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Welcome back to Africa 54. Here's what's trending. Forbes magazine has named pop star Katy Perry the highest earning woman in music. Perry earned $135 million between June 2014 and June 2015 and June 2015 from a world tour and sponsorship deals, according to the magazine. In second place was fellow pop star Taylor Swift. She made $80 million from her 1989 album and its accompanying world tour. Enjoying third place were surprise entry the female members of Fleetwood Mac, Stevie Nicks and Christine McVie. They, along with their 3 male bandmates, pulled in $59.5 million thanks to their On With The Show tour. Lady Gaga and Beyonce followed in 4th and 5th place. Well, next up, a Kardashian-worthy phone case rimmed with tiny lights, a keepsake book of letters to my love, and a banana, peanut butter, and chocolate cake called the Elvis are among Oprah's favorite things of 2015. This year's list, which guarantees companies a bump in sales, includes 87 items, from a doggy fur jacket from Park Avenue and little kid animal boots made by Emu to an elegant box of cut flowers courtesy of High Camp, plus Oprah's favorite drawstring tapered sweatpants. Before she gave up her talk show, Oprah revealed her pics on TV and in print. Nowadays, the December issue of her magazine, O, carries on the holiday tradition she established more than 20 years ago. Well, and finally, fashion pandemonium at the H&M store in Tel Aviv. Israelis charged their way into the shop early this week, hoping to get hold of items from the clothing store's collaboration with legendary haute couture fashion house, Balmain. Some 500 Israelis stood in line, in some cases for hours, to snatch up the affordable priced high fashion line. According to organizers, the entire collection was snatched up within an hour. The Balmain X H&M collection, which features clothing and accessories for men and women, is available in approximately 250 stores worldwide, as well as online, but only if you move fast. That is what is trending today. Well, it's been an exciting week in sports, and for all of the highlights, we turn to Sonny Young with the Sonny Side of Sports. Sonny.
Hi, Vincent. My guest on Africa 54 is Austin Okon-Akpan, head of sports at VOA partner Channels Television in Nigeria. Sporty greetings and welcome, Austin.
Sporty greetings, Sonny. Good to be here. Payback Friday.
Payback Friday. Yeah. And I want to say, Austin, I know you're closely following the Golden Eaglets of Nigeria, the country's national under-17 team, playing for the world title on Sunday against another African squad, Mali. How do you see that match?
That's double love for us, Sonny. It shows the world is becoming African. You know, in 1993, in Japan, it was Nigeria taking on Ghana. In 2015, now in Chile, it's Nigeria taking on Mali. But special shout out to the Golden Eaglets of Nigeria. That team, they have been phenomenal. Played arguably the best game against Mexico last night, winning down by 4-2. And they look good to win it. Defending champions, the Golden Eaglets are, and they've won the competition for a record 4 times. They'll do it for the 5th time, Sonny.
I want to give another shout out for number 9 on the Golden Eaglets, Victor Osimhen. Record-breaking performance.
Wears the number 9 jersey and has scored 9 goals. And has tied with the all-time record goal scorer for the under-17 FIFA World Cup. Now, on Sunday, This is going to make it maybe 10 or 11 because I know he's going to score more goals on Sunday. But not just Victor Osimhen. It's been a team effort. Coach Emmanuel Amunike has been teaching those guys how to play as a team. And you can see from the way even the captain, Kelechi Wakali, commands the team. He carries them along. And so far, Nigeria has been the highest scoring team. They've made it to the final, and of course, favorites to win on Sunday.
Coach Omenike, how much credit do you give him, Austin, for the team?
He's a good coach. Remember the FIFA Technical Study Group? They came out to say the Nigerian team has an admirable tactics and play on the field. Coach Omenike has played for the team, for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, and when he was playing, he was a ferocious attacker. And you can see that in this team. They have the philosophy of going out there to score. They might lean back, watch you do your thing, but when they catch you on the counter, you get punished. 11/10 for Coach Omenike.
Two teams from West Africa in Sunday's final, Nigeria and Mali, Austin. Does that speak to where the balance of power lies in African football?
That's what it is, Sonny. You're so on point. It is the future of African football, West Africa. We've done good things with our football, and you can tell with the stars that have come out of West Africa. Didier Drogba, Samuel Otu, Austin Okocha, Nwankwo Kanu. You know, even in recent times, we have them still doing big things. So it doesn't say anything different. Mali did big things at the Under-17 African Championship, and they're hoping to do that at the world stage. The Golden Eaglets, they've been winning this competition. Guess what, Sonny? They've won it 4 times on Asian soil. Let's see if they can change it on Sunday.
All right, my special guest, Austin Okon-Akpan, head of sports at VOA partner Channels Television in Nigeria. Thank you very much, Austin.
Thank you so much, Sonny.
I'm VOA Sonny Young, and that's the Sonny Side of Sports. Vincent?
Well, you had a blast there. Thanks a lot, Sonny. Remember to watch for the Sonny Side of Sports every Monday and Friday right here on Africa 54. Well, that's our show for today. Be sure to watch Africa 54 on our website at voaafrica.com. For more news, tune in to VOA's evening radio show, Africa News Tonight at 1800 UTC, and in the mornings, Today Break Africa between 0300 and 0600 UTC, Monday through Friday. Thanks a lot for watching, and from all of us here in Washington, have a good night.
Welcome to English in a Minute. This American idiom is about getting your facts right.
Did you hear that rumor going around about Craig and Cheryl calling off their wedding?
Yeah, I heard it straight from the horse's mouth. Craig told me he's calling off the wedding. I didn't want to ask too many questions, but it's true.
Do people really look into a horse's mouth for facts? Straight from the horse's mouth means you got information about a situation directly from a person involved, and not through rumors. The saying comes from the fact that people can tell the true age of a horse by looking at the teeth in its mouth. So, if you get your information straight from the horse's mouth, you have the truth. And that's English in a Minute.